Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Trivedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Consider the following statements. The central government owns the minerals within the exclusive economic zone of India. The state government owns the minerals located within their respective boundaries. Now we have to select the correct statement. Both the first as well as the second one is correct. The correct answer is option C. The entry at serial number 23 of the list second, that is the state list, to the Constitution of India, it mandates that state government should own the minerals located within their boundaries. And the entry of serial number or at the serial number 54 of list 1, that is the central list, it mandates that the central government should own the minerals within the exclusive economic zone of India. The central government has the ownership over all offshore minerals, that is the minerals extracted from the sea or ocean floor in the Indian maritime zones, such as the territorial waters, continental shelf and exclusive economic zone. The Go Blue campaign recently in the news is associated with which of the following? The correct answer to this question is spreading awareness about antimicrobial resistance. Recently, the Ministry of Animal Husbandry and Dairying has organized a workshop on the National Action Plan to combat antimicrobial resistance while celebrating the World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. During this week, an international color campaign, Go Blue campaign, was launched by the AMR tripartite organization to help spread awareness about AMR. AMR is the resistance acquired by any microorganism against antimicrobial drugs that are used to treat infections. Microorganisms that develop antimicrobial resistance are sometimes referred to as superbugs. The WHO has declared AMR as one of the top 10 global health threats. With reference to Global Nutrition Report of 2021, consider the following statements. There is no country on track to halt the rise in adult obesity or achieve a relative reduction in salt or sodium intake. India has made significant progress in anemia and childhood wasting. So we have to select the correct statement. The first statement is definitely correct. Second is incorrect because India has not made a progress in anemia and childhood wasting. In fact, this is a cause of concern for India. So the correct answer to this question is option A. The Global Nutrition Report acts as a report card on the world's nutrition globally, regionally and country by country and on efforts to improve it. And according to the recently released Global Nutrition Report 2021, India has made no progress at all on anemia and childhood wasting. Over half of Indian women in the age group of 15 to 49 years are anemic. There has been a rise in anemia amongst Indian women since 2016 from 52.6% to 53% in 2020. And interestingly, this is what the National Family Health Survey has also been flagging. Okay, so remember NFHS's report number 5 and also this report. India is also among 23 countries that have made no progress or are worsening on reducing childhood wasting. Global nutrition targets at the current rate of progress. The global nutrition targets will not be achieved by 2025, very sadly, and that is globally itself and in most countries worldwide. Moving on. Only 7 countries are on track when talking about meeting 4 of the 6 maternal, infant and young child nutrition targets by 2025. While no country is on track to halt the rise in adult obesity or achieve a 30% relative reduction in salt or sodium intake. Moving on to the next question, we have to consider the following statements. It was illegally smuggled from the Arab region into India. A hot and humid climate with temperatures ranging between 15 degrees Celsius and 28 degrees Celsius are required and naturally grows in the western and eastern Ghats. So, which crop we are talking about? The correct answer to this question is option C, coffee. As per data provided by the planters community, India's arabica coffee production will drop by 30% and robusta also by 20% this harvest season ending January. And it was introduced to India during the late 17th century. The story goes that an Indian pilgrim to Mecca smuggled 7 beans back to India from Yemen in 1670. It was illegal to take coffee seeds out of Arabia at that time and planted them in the Chandragiri hills of Karnataka. Coffee in India is grown under a canopy of thick natural shade in ecologically sensitive regions of western and eastern Ghats. Climatic conditions which are required for coffee are coffee plants requiring a hot and humid climate with temperature ranging between 15 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius, and rainfall from 150 to 250 centimeter. Frost, snowfall, high temperature above 30 degrees Celsius, and a strong sunshine is not at all good for coffee crops and is generally grown under shady trees. Moving on. Dry weather is necessary at the time of ripening of the berries, and stagnant water is very harmful, and the crop is grown on hill slopes at an elevation from 600 to 1600 meters above the sea level. Well-drained loams containing a good deal of humus and minerals like iron and calcium are ideal for coffee cultivation. Okay, remember all this. Moving on. With reference to a cross scheme, consider the following statements. It pertains to the atmospheric science programs of the Ministry of Earth Sciences, and the scheme will provide improvements for warning of cyclones, storm surges, heat waves and thunderstorms. We have to select the correct statement. Both of them are definitely correct. The correct answer is option C, and it pertains to the atmospheric science program of Ministry of Earth Sciences and addresses different aspects of weather and climate services. It will provide improved weather, climate and ocean forecast and service. And this would also include the warnings for cyclone, storm surges, heat waves and thunderstorms. And the whole process from the generation of the forecast is to have a delivery system, and it is to deliver requiring considerable manpower at every stage, thereby generating employment also. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to Havana Syndrome. The symptoms of the illness were first observed in 2016 among the US diplomats in Cuba. Directed microwave radiation has been detected as a plausible cause for Havana Syndrome. As we have to select the correct statement, both of them are correct. The correct answer is option C. Recently, the FBI said that dealing with the issue of anomalous health incidents, widely known as Havana Syndrome, is a top priority, and it will keep investigating the cause and how to protect staff. It is a mysterious illness, Havana Syndrome, that was first detected in the US Embassy in Havana, Cuba in 2016. In late 2016, a few diplomats from the USA and their employees had reported certain unusual symptoms during their stay in Havana in Cuba. They experienced some odd physical sensations and heard peculiar sounds, after which they started feeling sick. The symptoms of the syndrome including nausea, severe headaches, fatigue, dizziness, sleep problems and hearing loss. A few of those who had been affected more faced chronic issues like vestibular processing and cognitive problems. In 2020, a report by the National Academies of Science, US found directed microwave radiation to be the plausible cause of Havana Syndrome. NAS, National Academy of Science, is a non-profit government organization that offers its report to the government with regard to science and technology projects. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements with respect to United Nations Security Council. Article 24 of the UN Charter concerns the composition of UNSC, and a no vote from one of the members, either permanent or non-permanent members, blocks the passage of the resolution. We have to select the correct statement. The first statement is incorrect because it's Article 23 of the UN Charter that deals with the composition of UNSC, so it's incorrect. Also, second one is incorrect because a no vote only from the permanent members can block the passage of the resolution. So none of them being correct, the correct answer is option D. Addressing the first plenary session of the 13th ASEM Summit virtually from New Delhi yesterday, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu emphasized the need for reforms in the UNSC, United Nations Security Council, and also other key international organizations so as to make them reflective of the contemporary realities of today. UNSC, the UN Charter, established 6 main organs of the UN, including UNSC. It is headquartered at New York. It is composed of 15 members, 5 permanent and 10 non-permanent. Permanent include China, France, Russian Federation, UK and US. 10 non-permanent include those members who are elected for 2-year terms by the General Assembly. Each member of the Security Council has 1 vote, and a no vote from one of the 5 permanent members block the passage of the resolution. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements with regard to Interpol. It is headquartered in Lyon, France. Each of the member countries hosts an Interpol National Center Bureau. The National Investigation Agency is designed or designated as the National Central Bureau of India. So, we have to select the correct statement. First statement is definitely correct, and so is the second. But third is not, because CBI, the Central Bureau of Investigation, is designated as the National Centre Bureau of India? So the correct answer should be 1 and 2, that is option A. India's candidate Praveen Sinha, Special Director of the CBI, has been elected as a delegate for Asia on the Executive Committee of the International Criminal Police Organization. It is an intergovernmental organization which helps to coordinate the police force of 194 member countries, and each of the member countries host an Interpol National Central Bureau. This connects their national law enforcement with the other countries and with the General Secretariat, and the CBI is designated as the National Central Bureau of India. The General Secretariat provides a range of expertise and services to the member countries. It is headquartered in Lyon, France. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to the state of Nagaland. It attained statehood with the enactment of the State of Nagaland Act 1962. The Nagaland Legislative Assembly is a unicameral legislature. So we have to select the correct statement. Both of them are correct. The correct answer is option C. The 2-day 9th session of the 13th Nagaland Legislative Assembly commenced in Kohima. Nagaland attained statehood with the enactment of the State of Nagaland Act in 1962 by the Parliament, and the Legislative Assembly of Nagaland is the unicameral legislature of the Indian state of Nagaland. It became a state of India on December 1st, 1963. After the election in January 1964, the first Nagaland Legislative Assembly was formed on 11 February 1964. Moving on. Consider the following statements with respect to ATP Finals. Alexander Zverev won the 2021 ATP Finals by defeating Daniil Medvedev. Alexander Zverev hails from Germany. So we have to select the correct statement. Both of them are correct. The correct answer is option C. Alexander Zverev won the 2021 ATP Finals by defeating Daniil Medvedev, and that too in a championship match in Turin last Sunday, and this was Alexander Zverev's second year championship crown after the 2018 triumph in London. The German ended the 2021 season as the world number 3 with 7,840 points, and he is currently 800 points behind second ranked Medvedev. He is 3,700 points behind world number 1 Novak Djokovic, who has 11,540 points. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements with respect to the Constitution of India. The original copies of the Indian Constitution were not printed but typed. The basic structure of the Indian Constitution was for the first time ever argued about in the 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐧𝐥𝐨𝐚𝐝 Bharti case. Nomination of members to the Rajya Sabha has been borrowed by the Constitution of South Africa. So we have to select the statement which is or not correct. The first statement is not correct because the original copies of the Indian Constitution were neither printed nor typed. It was handwritten. The basic structure of the Indian Constitution was for the first time argued about in the Golaknath case, and it was established therefore in the 𝐃𝐫𝐻𝐸𝐴 Bharti case. So for the first time ever argued, it should be Golaknath. First is incorrect, second is incorrect, and also third is not correct. Why? Because nomination to the members of the Rajya Sabha is borrowed by the Constitution of Ireland. So none of them being correct. The correct answer is option D, all of the above. As a part of the Constitution Day celebrations on Friday, President Ramnath Kovind will lead the celebration with preamble reading in the Central Hall of Parliament, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a distinguished gathering. Constitution Day or Samvidhan Divas is also known as National Law Day. The day commemorates the adoption of the Constitution of India, and the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment on 19th November 2015 notified the decision of the Government of India to celebrate 26 November as Constitution Day. The framing of the Constitution took over 2 years, 11 months and 18 days. The original copies of the Indian Constitution weren't typed or printed. They have been handwritten and now kept in a helium-filled case within the library of the Parliament. Prem Bihari Narayan Raizada had written the unique copies of the Structure of India. Nomination of members to Rajya Sabha has been borrowed from Ireland, whereas the election of the members of Rajya Sabha has been borrowed from South Africa. And the phrase basic structure itself cannot be found in the Indian Constitution. Now, the phrase basic structure was introduced for the first time by M.K. Nambiar and other counsels while arguing for the petitioners in the Golaknath case. But it was only in 1973 that the Supreme Court recognized this concept for the first time in the historic 𝐃𝐫𝐻𝐸𝐴 Bharti case in 1973. Moving on, let's look at the practice question for the next segment. Which of the following countries are included in the OPEC+? Mexico, Russia, Malaysia, Sudan. So we have to select the correct statement. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.